Have you ever been home alone and felt a strange, unsettling chill? The kind that makes the absolute silence feel so loud it's deafening. You're afraid to turn off the background noise, the hum of the refrigerator, the distant rumble of a car, the low murmur of the television, because you sense that the moment you do, you'll hear something you've been trying to ignore your entire life. That inner voice, the void within you. It's a space you've tried to fill with everything and everyone else, yet it remains stubbornly empty. Most people run from this moment in a blind panic, as if solitude were a monster waiting to devour them. But the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer saw something entirely different. For him, that same terrifying silence was not a curse, but a gift. He believed the true measure of your mind isn't how well you navigate social settings, but what happens when you close the door and there's no one left but you. That's the crucible where your true strength is tested. Are you capable of surviving your own company? Consider this. When you're truly alone, all your masks, all your carefully constructed facades, and all the expectations of others fall away. It's a frightening experience, because without the constant hum of external validation, you might discover that you aren't as interesting as you thought you were, or that the cracks you've tried to cover with pretty words are wider and deeper than you ever imagined. Solitude strips you bare, relentlessly, without mercy. But it's in this very unmasking that real intelligence and character emerge. Schopenhauer believed that the brightest minds didn't seek refuge in crowds because they instinctively understood that the crowd always demands conformity, and conformity is the silent killer of originality. There's something deeply unsettling in this observation. What if the real reason you can't stand being alone isn't a lack of company, but a lack of inner character? What if what you fear most isn't solitude itself, but the brutal, unchained freedom of thinking for yourself? Truly intelligent people don't need to escape themselves because their minds are vast, fertile, and, at the same time, dangerous territories. They find ideas within themselves that the rest of the world will never understand because they are too busy filling every silence with trivial conversation. Picture it, an empty room. No witnesses, no social scripts. It's just you and your thoughts, face to face. For many, that's hell. For a select few, it's the very genesis of everything that truly matters. This is the breeding ground where creativity is born. It's where originality sprouts, and where those transformative visions that change the world are forged. They don't appear at parties, in crowded groups, or during endless debates, but in the quiet, shadowed solitude where each thought resonates like thunder. Society, in its relentless pursuit of groupthink, will always try to convince you that you need to be surrounded by people, that the value of your life is measured by the number of friends you have or the amount of approval you receive. But look closely at the evidence. The crowd rarely creates anything new. The crowd repeats, imitates, and copies. Those who dare to step away, who embrace isolation, are the ones who end up discovering something no one else had seen before. This, of course, makes the comfortable uneasy, because every solitary genius is a painful reminder to those who only know how to live on the surface, content with the shallow end of the pool. The most disturbing part is that deep down, you already know this. You know your truest, best self never emerges from the middle of noise. It appears in those quiet moments when you are trapped inside the echo chamber of your own mind. The problem is that you don't dare to stay there long enough. You escape, you seek out the nearest distraction, your phone, a movie, a conversation, anything to avoid what's waiting for you. Because if you remained, you would discover that everything you fear is inside you. But at the same time, everything you desire is also there. This unbearable contradiction is too much for many to handle. But for the select few who dare to think for themselves, it is the most vital nourishment. Schopenhauer's words on this are crystal clear. Solitude is not a punishment. It is a privilege reserved for those who possess the mental strength to endure it. The rest will keep running after noise, begging for attention, pleading for recognition, and desperately trying to fill a void that can never be filled from the outside. But the truly intelligent know that the further they distance themselves from this desperate need for validation, the freer they become. And that freedom, though it may be painful and frightening, is the fertile ground from which all wisdom grows. Now, ask yourself an uncomfortable question. What would happen if you turned everything off, absolutely everything, and stayed alone with yourself for days, weeks, months? Would you discover your true power, your hidden depths? Or would you be shattered by the echo of your own mind? The answer to that single question changes everything, because it's where the line is drawn, between those who live to please the herd and those who live to create. And be warned, once you cross that line, there's no going back. Because once you taste the profound strength of solitude, the company of others begins to feel like a cheap, low-calorie distraction. Have you ever noticed that the more intelligent someone is, the more selective they become with where they invest their mental energy? This isn't a coincidence. When you truly understand the immense value of your own thoughts, you discover that the crowd is a silent grinderer, slow, relentless force that wears down and corrupts originality. Social noise doesn't just steal your time, it steals your clarity. And here's the truly unsettling part. It's not that people consciously want to steal your clarity, it's that they fear you having it. A clear mind is, by its very nature, an uncontrollable mind. A mind that dares to think alone can no longer be manipulated by the fear of what others might say, nor by the easy, fleeting rewards that trap everyone else. Solitude isn't just the birthplace of creativity. It is also the secret laboratory where one learns to hear what no one else hears. Those who live in crowds become accustomed to prepackaged thoughts, the same phrases, the same opinions, the same recycled emotions, repeated over and over again. But the one who steps away begins to perceive the hidden nuances of reality, the things that are never shown in public. This is where the truly profound and even sinister insights emerge. You begin to realize that much of what you thought was authentic in society is nothing more than a twisted reflection of what they expect you to be. And this is where Schopenhauer's insight was sharper than a scalpel. If you seek truth in the crowd, you will find falsehood, because the collective never rewards originality. It rewards adaptation and sameness. The crowd doesn't applaud what breaks its routines. It applauds what reinforces them. This is why the great thinkers, the truly lucid minds, were solitary not because they contempted others, but because they knew that the purity of their thought would be contaminated with every concession they made to the herd. Imagine a scene. Everyone is smiling. Everyone looks happy. Everyone seems to fit in perfectly. But beneath that polished surface lies a shared, unspoken terror, the fear of not belonging. That is humanity's greatest invisible prison. We are trained from an early age to fear isolation more than we fear mediocrity. And yet, the brightest minds understand that isolation is not a sentence, but a secret door. It's a door that leads to an inner territory where the rules change, where external voices fade into a whisper, and only the raw, powerful pulse of your own thought remains. There is something almost supernatural about this process. The more time you spend alone, the more layers of lies fall away. It's painful, of course, because you discover that much of your life was built on the shaky foundation of others' expectations and borrowed desires. But that pain is undeniable proof that you are waking up. And once you awaken, you can never truly sleep again. Society begins to look like a grotesque theater full of actors repeating scripts they didn't write. And while they exhaust themselves for fleeting applause, you begin to understand that the real, most important play is being written in silence. Far from the stage, the most unsettling part of all this is that intelligence, when coupled with solitude, grants a power that few know how to handle: radical independence. An independence that needs no validation, asks for no permission, and kneels before no one. This kind of freedom is dizzying because it means that if you fall, no one will be there to hold you up. But it also means that if you rise, no one can stop you. It is a brutal, unspoken pact with yourself to renounce the false comfort of belonging in order to embrace the unshakable strength of being authentic. And here is the most disturbing revelation: the more independent you become, the more uncomfortable you will make others. Not because you are harming them, but because your very existence is a living reminder of what they didn't dare to be. Your chosen solitude becomes a mirror that reflects the profound dependence of those who don't know how to be alone. And that reflection torments them. That's why they attack you, criticize you, and judge you. Not because you are strange, but because your freedom exposes their willing slavery. Let me ask you something that will truly unsettle you. What is worse, being alone or living surrounded by people who never truly know you? What is more terrifying, the silence of your own room, or the eternal noise of empty conversations that mean absolutely nothing? Because if you truly think about it, there is no greater loneliness than the one you feel while surrounded by people who don't understand your mind. This is the paradox no one wants to accept. Most people would prefer to have false company rather than face the real company of themselves. And that is what separates those who get lost in the crowd from those who manage to transcend it. The lesson Schopenhauer left for us is so deeply uncomfortable that it still unsettles those who dare to read it. Solitude not only strengthens, it also filters. It acts as a powerful sieve that filters out false friends, false thoughts, and false emotions. At first, it hurts because it feels like you're losing everything. But over time, you discover that the only things you lost were illusions. What is real, what truly matters, stays with you. And this brutal cleansing is the very seed of authenticity. Now tell me, are you ready to endure the truth that appears when all the noise disappears? Because what you discover will not always be pretty, easy, or comfortable. But if you endure it, if you survive that terrifying mirror, then you will have gained the only thing that truly matters: ownership of yourself. And that, believe it or not, is rarer and more valuable than any applause you could ever receive. But there's something even more unsettling that almost no one dares to mention. Solitude changes the way we perceive time. When you're constantly surrounded by noise and distractions, days slip away like sand through your fingers. Everything blurs. Nothing leaves a lasting mark. However, when you're truly alone, every hour weighs on you as if the clock itself has become conscious. Time slows down, and in that expanded space, your mind begins to dig deeper. Thoughts are revealed that would never have appeared in the constant rush of social life. Silence, when you learn to endure it, becomes a mirror that amplifies who you truly are and what you secretly fear becoming. And that's frightening because you cannot escape your own reflection. What's truly disturbing is that this experience not only strips your mind bare, it also strips your very identity. You begin to realize that a large part of what you thought you were was nothing more than the sum of other people's expectations. These were roles you assumed because others expected you to. But in isolation, those roles crumble. And what remains is the most brutal question of all. Who are you really when no one is watching? Most people prefer never to face that question because they fear that the answer may be no one. But the few who dare discover that this void is not an abyss, but an empty canvas. And it is on that canvas where true creation begins. Genuine creativity isn't born in conversations, nor in applause, nor from external stimuli. It is born in the quiet intimacy of a mind that dares to wander solitary paths. The inventions that changed history, the ideas that shook entire cultures, did not come from halls filled with voices. They were born in closed rooms during endless nights of reflection, in minds that had the strength to endure the discomfort of being alone with their thoughts. It is as if solitude were a crucible where the purest ideas are melted down, an invisible furnace that hardens what noise could never forge. But here comes another, darker revelation. Not everyone can endure that process, because the same solitude that feeds the intelligent will destroy the weak. What for some is a fertile field for thought, for others becomes a suffocating, barren desert. It's the difference between one who uses silence as a powerful weapon and one who perceives it as a life sentence. And that difference is what marks the boundary between authentic intelligence and mediocrity disguised as sociability. Do you see it now? The more you think about it, the clearer it becomes that solitude isn't a simple state of being. It is a test. It's a deep psychological test that separates those who dare to face their own minds from those who constantly need to numb it with distraction. And perhaps this is the most profound key of all. Noise is the drug of the masses. Solitude is the medicine of the wise. But like all powerful medicine, it tastes bitter. It hurts. It is profoundly uncomfortable. Only those who can withstand the bitterness will obtain the cure. Now imagine the future of someone who never dares to be alone. Imagine an entire life defined by what others think, marked by constantly shifting opinions, built on quicksand. That person never truly knows themselves, never faces their own mind, and never touches their true essence. And when the end comes, they realize they lived their entire life surrounded by people, but were completely empty on the inside. In stark contrast, the one who embraced solitude carries something indestructible, an identity that depends on no one, a sharp mind that is sufficient unto itself, a freedom that no one can ever take away. The question is inevitable. Are you willing to go through the pain that truly discovering yourself entails? Because if you do, you will enter a territory where very few dare to walk. It's a territory where the crowd cannot follow you. And there, among the shadows of silence, you will realize what Schopenhauer always knew. Solitude is not an absence of something. It is an absolute presence, the presence of who you are, of what you can create, of what no one but you can ever become. And this is where we reach the most delicate point, the territory where almost no one dares to look straight. Solitude as a teacher, not as a refuge, not as a punishment, not as an excuse, but as a relentless, unforgiving teacher. She will tear away everything that is false, everything that is superficial, and everything you accumulated just to fit in. And when nothing remains, when silence devours everything, the only thing left is your naked essence. That which needs no applause, no validation, and no crutches to stand. That which will not break even if you lose everything. That which, deep down, is the only truth you have. And perhaps this is the final message no one wants to accept. There is no shortcut, no trick, no manual. There is only one decision. Flee from the void like everyone else, or enter it like the few. The crowd lives anesthetized, distracted, constantly chasing fleeting mirages. But the one who embraces solitude finds an invisible edge, a hidden power, and a brutal clarity that changes everything. Because a mind capable of being alone is, by its very nature, an untamable mind. Think about this. The entire world can turn against you, but if your inner self is with you, you will never truly be defeated. That is the kind of strength the crowd will never know, because they are too busy protecting themselves from themselves. Solitude is not the end of anything. It is the beginning of everything. And whoever understands that will stop being a slave to noise and will begin to live as one of the truly free. So now, I throw you a challenge. If you've made it this far, I want you to write this phrase, and only this phrase, in the comments. Silence also speaks. I want to see who made it to the very end. Who dared to walk with me through this darkness that reveals the light. And I leave you with a final thought that makes perfect sense. Turn off the noise. Let the echo of these words haunt you. And remember, the crowd can forget you in seconds. But what you build in your solitude, that will never be erased,